Hello, I'm Danny McCue of Anton Community Newspapers, and this is Insight Nassau, a program in which we intend to explore issues of vital importance to all local residents. On this evening's show, we'll be talking about the fate of Main Street USA, if you will, and about the many efforts of people across Long Island, and particularly Nassau County, to bring Main Street and downtowns of our small communities back. Joining me on this evening's show is Gary Hughes, Revitalization Director of Belmore Village, Danny Lehner, who is the president of Lehner International and also the president of the Nassau County Council of Chambers of Commerce, and Fred Parola, who many of you know is our county controller here in Nassau, but also a longtime activist and resident of Wantagh. Gentlemen, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Lehner, you've recently completed a study of downtowns across the country, and it's going to be in a book published next spring, I believe, entitled Renaissance USA. Tell us a little bit about the changing roles and how the fate of downtowns, if you will, the health of downtowns has changed over the past 25 years or so.
Well, I started out to travel across the United States to go and find out how other people have been handling the problems that are existing currently in the downtowns in Nassau County. And it was a very interesting trip. I went and found a lot of theme situations and the growth of small downtowns by changing what a downtown is. Downtown is not the same as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Now, what was it? I had a conversation the other day with Ed Smits, he's the Nassau County historian, in which he talked about how our downtowns predominantly grew up around crossroads, and it became the center where you got things you needed, the hardware store, the druggist, the shoe store. And that has changed as the county, as our communities have grown. So what was a downtown way back when, and what is it now? How and why has the change occurred?
Well, work this out for a minute. The original positioning of different towns came about based upon how far you could travel in a day in a horse and buggy.
Right.
That's why they were separated in the fashion that they were. Then come along the beginning of the 1900s, and we developed small downtowns that were thriving, and just about the only place that you would go shopping. Right. And then came the malls. Right. Now we have to change the way we compete with the malls. Mom and pops can compete in a fashion that no mall can match. Right. But most of the mom and pops don't know this yet, and that's what we're out spreading the word about. The mom and pops can provide the service that a student who just happens to be filling in part-time at a local mall cannot do.
Right. Now, Fred, as a long-time civic-minded person in Wantagh, what do you think the downtowns brought to communities in terms of like the social component?
Well, I'll put both my hats on, governmental and political and civic. Downtowns are absolutely essential for our survival as communities, quote unquote, in my mind, because think of any of your downtowns, whether it's Seaford or East Meadow, anywhere in the county, if those areas were vacant, you would have a blighted situation. And if you look to what was happening, sadly, in Hempstead 20 years ago, before the present mayor and his predecessor aggressively with their local village board attempted to revitalize their community, we had a real plight. And that is the worst possible case scenario, though Hempstead's coming back, I think. Freeport, they've done a wonderful job as well. The situations, for example, that we're specifically addressing in Belmore today has never been that severe. But again, if you had a downtown that was blighted, you would lose that sense of community. It's a place where people tend to go to hang out. Specialty stores, as Danny Lehner indicated, I think you're changing the mix now from a lot of specialty stores where there's close attention to the community, where you know someone one-on-one. It doesn't have the distance, the aloofness that a mall will have. But it's the downtown. It's what a community center is. It's the last vestige of bringing the community back, because for most of our unincorporated areas, it's your school district, it may be your fire district, your library, and your downtown that gives a sense of community to the people that live there.
Now, Gary, why did you become a retailer? Why did you enter this, I guess you could almost say it's an industry?
I was in the wholesale manufacturing end of jewelry, and I wanted more contact with people. Right. On a wholesale basis, you're only dealing with owners of other stores. By owning a store, you're able to deal with the community, you're able to be involved in the community more customer contact, and that's why I got into retail.
Right. Now, there's also the aspect, I think, of the small store is the person that kind of supports your Little League, your soccer leagues,
sure.
things of that nature. Kind of give me a sense of that kind of interaction with the community.
Well, the local stores are the stores that support the Little League, the roller hockey, the synagogues, the churches in the community. Whether they are having a raffle, whether they're having a fundraiser, they're supporting the local school taxes, and they're supporting the local schools. These downtown stores are of vital importance. If the downtown stores weren't there, where would you go at 9 o'clock at night for a quart of milk? Would you go to one of the big box stores? I don't think so. That's why the importance of the downtown community is so important to an area and the vitality of an area.
Now, Bruce Nyman, our county legislature from Long Beach, has said that we're kind of at war right now, and the only people that know it are the small business people. As far as, he said the threat used to be the Cold War and the Russians, and now it's Walmart and Home Depot and the like. And as a retailer, when did you see a crisis? I mean, did you see it coming a long way off, or all of a sudden did you say, wait a minute, I'm in the middle of a bad situation?
Well, I don't see it as a war.
Okay.
I think at this point it's a matter of it's reality. Right. They're there, whether it be the malls or the big box stores. And now it's a matter of finding your niche right. and dealing with it, because as Dan had said, there's a big difference between the mall or the big box store and your local retailer. And people have different needs. Some people shop for the lowest coupon they can find that week. Other people want service. When they walk into a store and they need help, they want to be able to find someone to help them, not look down the aisles aimlessly looking for some help. So everyone has their own needs, and I think that the downtown areas have their niche, and the other aspects of shopping have theirs.
Right.